Welcome back, guys. Today we are checking out the Qsp Worker. A little bit of a different intro. I just wanted to show the knife kind of being put to work, and hopefully that illustrated some of its qualities and potential there for you. This one's actually a newer release from Qsp. It hasn't been out that long. I've actually had this one since Blade Show. My buddy David over at Blade Banter picked this up for me. I was really interested in just this kind of oversized traditional format, overbuilt, something interesting that I hadn't quite seen, and I was really just wanting to get in hand and see what I would think of it. We've got some friends along for the ride on this one. We have Bubba Peppers, friend of the channel. He's been in some videos before giving us his insight and thoughts. And also Michael McCormick, a longtime viewer of the channel, someone that I interact with a little bit here and there on Instagram, and just he always watches and always comments. So pick those guys out for this episode of Farmboy and Friends. I already got the next guys picked out for the next Farmboy and Friends, which will be a little bit out, but if those are something you guys are interested in, shoot me down in the comments below and I can get you on the list for checking out some of these knives. But this is a prototype, and we'll talk about it as if it's actually just a normal knife, and we'll go over a few of the changes that have been made versus the production version. So that'll be the things that you guys will be getting. But we're going to go ahead and kick this thing off. As always, we're going to start out with a spec check before we get started, and then we're going to get some thoughts with our friends of the channel. All right, guys, here is your spec check. Here we go. Alright, there is your spec check. You might have noticed a few annotations and differences than what you were actually seeing. That's because this being a prototype, the production version has had a few minor tweaks and changes. Primarily going to be the pocket clip. They have switched over to a deep carry pocket clip, which I think is a good move. I think the general audience will be pretty happy with that. And then the blade steel, this one is rocking D2. On the production version, they have went with N690. So pretty good upgrade there. I think those changes will go over well versus what you see here. So for all intents and purposes, moving forward, we're just going to assume that that's deep carry, and that's N690. All right, with that aside, let's jump over to one of our friends. We're going to start with Michael. Michael McCormick is going to give us his take and thoughts on this knife, and then we're going to touch base with Bubba and get my overall thoughts and impressions as well. And that'll wrap us up. So here we go. Michael's going to take it off. Thanks, Michael, for being a part of this. Here you go.
Hey, guys. Here we are with the Qsp Worker, designed by Arthur Braum. I believe he's a German fellow, and he did a great job with this. We're doing this review for jackfarmboy. Our buddy's sending these to a couple people, and he's doing a friends review, asking the public what they think of the new knife from Qsp, and I like it. This is a heavy-duty work knife that can also be used as a gentleman's carry. It's got a beautiful sheepsfoot blade and some thick stock. Right now we're showing this in D2 steel, but we are expecting N690, I believe, on the final production run. And these are going to go for, I believe, $70. Don't quote me. And for $70, you're getting a lot. You're getting an awesome work knife. This has got some heft. I've got extra large, almost double X hands, and I can get a 4-finger grip on that, no problem. And I love it. It is drop shut nice. The build quality is outstanding. I mean, you could just feel the quality as soon as you pick this knife up. We're on, I believe, ball bearing washers, and I can just slow roll this thing, no problemo, one-handed. and then closing. Not a problem. The only thing I don't care for, that pocket clip isn't the greatest. But as far as I know, the production version is going to have a deep carry pocket clip, so that's going to look a little different. And the handle cover materials are going to be different. These are going to be carbon fiber, G10, and there's going to be some kind of a wood available. I love the jig bone. Green, I like it. It's not my first color choice for jig bone, but it's different and it's a nice shade. It's that like kind of Kelly green, that Irish green that we like, and the transitions are perfect. From handle material, from the scales to the bolster, nothing. Perfect. You know, in between the back spring, the liners, there are no gaps. Let's get a little comparisons. Other lockbacks that I happen to have on the desk here. Delica, Code 4. So, you know, compared to the Code 4, it's a good size knife. You know, that blade length is just about the same as the Code 4. Weight, I'm going to have to go with the QSP as a couple. I don't have a scale. I'm not going to be your technical specs guy here, guys. We're going around the block once real quick with this. Just giving you the first impressions. And this has got a little bit more weight than the Code 4. So if you're familiar with the Code 4 and how much that weighs, this is going to be a little bit heavier. But again, look at stock thickness. I mean, that is a working knife. You're not worried about breaking the tip off with this thing. And I know we don't pry with our knives, right? They're not prying tools. But if you were going to pry with one knife, right there. Right there, there's your guy. You can get a paint can off with this and not worry about losing the tip. I think you'd be okay. I don't know, guys. What do you think of this? It's a nice blend between your classic traditional slip joint look with the modern features of modern materials. Love it. All right, guys. Thanks. Bye.
All right, big thanks to Michael for jumping on here. When these guys do it and they jump on and they help me with the review, it's I always applaud them. Sometimes it's hard to put together a coherent string of words in a sentence and get a train of thought across. So those guys did great. Everyone's done great that's been on Farmboy and Friends. So big thank you to him. And yeah, we're gonna jump to Bubba here in a second, but I wanted to touch on some of the points that he made. He said he didn't like the pocket clip, but as we stated, the pocket clip is going to be changed over and is changed over to a deep carry clip. This one actually has been okay with me. I don't hate it as much as I hate some pocket clips. This one works for me, and the steel is going to be N690. He mentioned it being tough and, you know, you could pry with it. Well, if you saw the intro there, I did actually pry some oak pallets. There we go. That's the word, pallets. See, that's what I mean, coherent sentences. So yeah, I used this to pry apart some oak pallets there in the beginning, and it did pretty good. You know, it was a little stressful on the knife, but you know, for better or worse, the knife works great, and there is no ill effects on the knife. So that is good. It does have a nice thick blade stock, flat grind. It's got that working sheepsfoot blade. And he mentioned the green on here through the jig bone, and this is the only green knife that I actually have, like a true green, and it wouldn't be my first choice, but I'm going to get close on this jig bone. The color, the depth is beautiful. So let's take a look real quick. I hope that comes through in true fashion, but just, it's got some lights up here and it gets dark, and it's just a wonderful green. I like this green a lot. Probably be my only green knife that I have, but it is done well. And he brought up the transitions. The fit and finish on this is great. Everything is nice and smooth, and as it should be. So a lot going on for this knife. At this point, we're going to focus the camera. There we go. At this point, not going to report on too much that I'm not liking on it. So we've got a lot of pros coming across the knife. The only so far has been the pocket clip. I chose Michael for this video because I knew Michael was a traditional guy, and I wanted his insight on this kind of just overbuilt, oversized, traditional style knife. And as you can tell, he's a fan. Well, Bubba Peppers is going to be our next guest, and Bubba is not a traditional guy. So we're going to jump on over to Bubba, and we're going to get thoughts with Bubba. Here we go. Bubba, take it away. Let's get your thoughts.
Hey Jack, it's great to be back with Farmboy and friends. I was really excited when you contacted me and said you had another knife coming my way, and particularly so since it was going to be a prototype. So when it got here, I opened the package and then went to open the box. Oh crap, Jack, because I know jack about traditionals. Well, that didn't last long, and I started looking at it, and really this is more of a modern traditional. Let's take a quick walk around. It's green bone handles, actually scales because it's on steel liners. The bolster's got T8 scales, T6s, as well as pocket clip with T6s. There's very little information about this, but the website in Germany does show it coming with a deep carry pocket clip, which is quite good looking because this one's pretty meh. Not a real fan of lockback knives, but I'll tell you what, listen to this lockup. Wow. Solid, no play whatsoever. The most exciting thing about this knife to me is the 3.5 inch Sheepsfoot. You heard how solid that lockup was. Well, it's on bearings. Trust me, it will guillotine shut. I found out the hard way. But listen to the closing. Pretty good, huh? And if you look at blade to handle ratio, they didn't do too bad. They could have given me a little bit more blade, but that's a real nitpick. There's one other thing I noticed too. When you look inside, they really didn't do any kind of weight relief whatsoever. And this knife right now is weighing over 4 ounces, and it seems to me a knife this size, and particularly of this style, you'd want to be a little lighter. And I'd want, if they would just weight relieve it a little bit, it'd probably be better, I think, for the people in that community that really, I almost did it. Let's do a few size comparisons, and then I'll kind of wrap it up because I don't want to take too much of the time on this. This is your review, and I really appreciate it. But next to pair 3, next to a bug out. Ooh, bad glare. Let's move it down here. Still got bad glare. So you see, we have a decent sized knife here. And if you're wondering why I pulled out these particular knives, Jack, you already know the answer to this. I'm not a real fan of Spyderco, Cold Steel, or Benchmade, but I still own them because I always feel like there's something I can learn, from the way they're put together. I am trying to get rid of this glare, so we'll just do this. And that's kind of the way I feel about this knife. It's nothing that really excites me, but I do appreciate it because it is so well made. It's listed on the German site at $95 plus shipping. I'm curious to see what QSP is going to price this thing at once they get it in production here stateside. This would be, I think, an exciting knife for somebody like Big Red EDC or Grateful Panic. For a modern traditional, the fact that you're able to take this thing apart, it has a lot of options as to what you can do with something like that instead of having the pin scales and handles. So that said, once again, Jack, I really do appreciate the chance to look at another knife, and the glare just will not go away. Anyway, so in Jack Farmboy tradition, let's do a sign off. Stay safe, Jack. Keep everybody on the farm well. Thanks again, buddy. Talk to you later.
Thanks, Bubba, for giving us your thoughts and impressions on this knife. Big thanks to Bubba for jumping in on this review. I always enjoy having Bubba on. Bubba's a great friend of the channel, good supporter of the channel, and just overall great guy to talk to. One of my favorites to talk to. So thanks for giving us that. We're going to touch on some of the points that he had on this knife. He did touch on the pocket clip, but we already kind of covered that. QSP has changed that, and everything's good there. He did bring up the weight. This is coming in at about 4.5 ounces, depending on the scale material. It fluctuates a little bit, but we're just going to say 4.5 ounces. For an oversized, kind of overbuilt traditional knife with thick blade stock, kind of chunkier handles, these are about, I think they're actually half an inch exactly. Let me go double check. We'll be right back. Just a hair under half an inch, so it, it fills the hand nice. It's got that big overweight or overbuilt feel. So I'm okay with 4.5. A little bit of weight relieving would have been nice. It would have brought that down a little bit, made it an easier carry. But something like this, when you're going to carry this, that's going to be something you want to know that you have this big, just kind of heavy duty work knife. So for me, that would be a so-so. Just a little bit of a talking point on that. Other than that, there was he brought up the action. Now this has that nail nick, the traditional format. I would say probably just open it two-handed and close it two-hand, but it's kind of hard when you have this knife. It's such a nice smooth just roll open there, and if you have a little bit of a bigger hand, you're going to be tempted to kind of do that that trick where you push down here and kind of drop it and then just close it all the way. And you got to be careful there. That's where it'll get you. I would have liked to have seen maybe a little bit more of a flat spot here, a little more material up, and then you brought your choil forward. You would have been losing cutting edge, and some people might have had a gripe with that. But for me, I would have liked to have the little extra security of knowing that there's something that when this is dropping down, I can kind of catch it on my finger, because you can see that that's all you got right now. Other than that, those are my only so-sos on the knife. The pros are the build quality, the fit and finish. I like it. It's attractive. I like the different handle options. Go check them out on QSP. White Mountain Knives has some of these. The price is going to go for 70, I think it's 74 or 79, up to about 86, depending on the material of the handle. And to me, that's a good price. If all of them are like this, this was a prototype, but if they nailed them all like this, I think that's a great price. Really nice, just something different that I don't see a lot of people doing, just big overbuilt kind of traditional format, modern traditional knives. I think QSP has a pretty good hit on their hands here, and it's something that I would recommend. If this is something you're into, and they all come out this nice, I would say yeah. So do I like it, love it, or leave it? I like it a lot. Michael seems to love it, and Bubba just kind of, not his jam, but he says, he can appreciate it for what it is. So I think this is something that's worth checking out, guys. If you have any questions, if I didn't cover anything, or if we missed anything in this review, as always, shoot them down in the comments below. I'll be happy to answer them. I always look forward to your guys' feedback. Farmboy and Friends are a little bit of a different format. We're going to be getting back into some traditional formats with some other knives here soon. Got a couple in the pipeline, so stay tuned. Big thanks to everybody for watching. Big thanks to the friends of the channel, Michael and Bubba, for jumping in. So I think that wraps it up. QSP Worker, nice overbuilt modern traditional knife. Quality is good, price is good, everything checks out in my books. Alright guys, as always, thanks for watching. Have a good one. We'll see you soon. Later guys.